recording.
Thank you. So thank you, Dileep. Thank you for inviting us. We are very happy to be with you in this program. So I want to introduce me and the other. I speak in Italian, but I have an official translator that is Amelia. Only in the first part I speak in Italian because there are Italian people follow us. Sono Amadio Bianchi, Swami Suryananda Sarasvati, sono il presidente dell'European Yoga Federation. Oggi sono nel ruolo di presentatore e vi dirò che sono davvero orgoglioso di presentare i miei cari fratelli europei e non europei, con cui condividiamo lo stesso sentiero che conduce all'unità.
My name is Amadio Bianchi, Swami Suryananda Saraswati from Italy. I'm the president of the European Yoga Federation, and today I'm here as your rancher, and I tell you that I'm really proud to introduce you to my dear European and non-European brothers and sisters with whom we share the same path that leads us to unity.
Il nostro slogan, che è comune anche alla World Community, è Unity in Diversity, o verità, ovvero unità nel rispetto della diversità, anche perché nulla può rappresentare meglio il divino della diversità.
Our motto that we share together with the World Community is Unity in Diversity. Unity in Diversity, meaning that unity with due regard for diversity, also because nothing can better represent the divine than diversity itself.
La diversità è anche la garanzia che l'infinito esiste.
Diversity is also the guarantee that infinity exists.
Questa è la via della pace in cui ho sempre creduto ed ho offerto molti anni della mia vita, oltre che allo studio dello yoga e dell'Ayurveda, che pratico da 55 anni, per ideare, fondare istituzioni e associazioni che favorissero in pratica l'aggregazione della diversità.
This is the path to peace in which I have always believed in and in which I offered many years of my life together with the study of yoga and Ayurveda, which I have been practicing for 55 years in order to design, found institutions and associations to encourage in practice the aggregation of diversity.
La frase che più mi ha ispirato nei miei studi orientali è stata Ekam Sad Vipra Bahudaha Vadanti, ovvero la verità è una, ma i saggi gli danno diversi nomi.
The phrase that most inspired me during my Oriental studies was Ekam Sat Vipra Bahuda Vadanti, or better said, the truth is one, but the sages give it different names.
Io e Amy Blesio, che sentirete parlare tra poco, abbiamo organizzato tantissimi eventi, ma uno in particolare si lega molto alla manifestazione che siamo qui a celebrare oggi.
Amy Blesio, who will have her talk shortly, Amy Blesio and I have organized many events, but one in particular is very close to the event that we are here to celebrate today.
Questo evento era intitolato Raggi di un'unica luce e faceva riferimento alle religioni e nel corso degli anni ha avuto prestigiosi ed importanti esponenti religiosi che hanno compreso e premiato la nostra manifestazione.
This event was entitled Raggi di un'unica luce, means rays of one light, and referred to religions, and over the years has had prestigious and important religious exponents who understood and rewarded our event.
Raggi di un'unica luce. Questa frase potrebbe essere applicata anche a un qualsiasi abitante di questo pianeta, al di là della razza, del colore, della pelle e delle idee che pratica.
Rays of a single light. This phrase could also be applied to any inhabitants of this planet, beyond the race, skin color, or ideas and practices.
Ogni persona è espressione del divino e per quello che potrebbe essere è il raggio di un'unica luce anche egli stesso.
Every single person is the expression of the divine. That's why we can say that every single person is like a ray of a single light of the divine.
Thank you. Thank you. Now I request Amy Blesio, Gayatridevi from Italy, board advisor and founder member with me of European Yoga Federation.
Amy Blesio, Mahamandaleshwar Pandit Yogacharini, Swami Gayatridevi, is a Yoga Paripurna schoolmaster and UPF Ambassador for Peace, recognized by the UN. She received honoris causa doctorate by Techno India University, Kolkata, West Bengal, India, and elected advisor of the same university. Her experience in the yoga discipline and Indian culture dated since 1965. Even she already was very interested in the culture and philosophy of India. In 2010, she received the Gandhi Simplicity Award at the Mahatma Gandhi Memorial in New Delhi, India. Amy Blesio is patron of the Women International Network Award for Peace and Non-Violence and member forever of the World Peace Development and Research Foundation, Noida, UP, India. Our topic today is Yoga Paripurna and Sanatana Dharma. So please, Amy Blesio, unmute yourself. We are here to listen to your wise words.
Thanks. I start my little speech about Yoga Paripurna and Sanatana Dharma. Each creature in the manifestation receives an inevitable initial push toward improvement. The human being at the beginning of its new manifestation, the good person toward holiness, the thief toward a better death, the murderer toward the perfect crime, and so on. Improvement is inevitable, but less predictable is the path, the journey in the Dharma. This path is of a personal, voluntary, and a conscious nature. This is the path that, taking into account Swadharma, correct personal action, leads us in the direction of the universal Dharma, the Sanatana Dharma. The common meaning of this term is primordial law, truth, norm, of eternal law. It is the eternal consciousness or of infinity and of an empty wall which in fact is full. So Sanatana also means perenniality, which gives more sense of flow of the term eternal. because it defines a continuum that has neither a beginning nor an end. Dharma is usually translated as law, ethics, cosmic law, natural law. But if we analyze the roots, the Riehl and the true, it also means supporting, sustaining, maintaining, conservation, stability. But also pole, earth of axis, or axis of the universe, where there is the important meaning on pivot, a stable center from where the world rotates. That is the entire universe that rotates around that center. Sanatana Dharma is therefore the very essence of the universe. Thus, the monastic quality of the Sanatana Dharma could also be given that fascinating idea of a perennity that rests on a firmly solid and ethical basis, the foundation. The foundation, a common term to all construction made by the human being. A house, a castle, a supermarket, a cathedral, of a temple. The base, the type of construction that we will be erected on the base depends on us and on our life choice. Obviously, the millenary discipline of yoga that has been transmitted to us from ancient times is a precious tool which bases its foundations on the ethical, moral, and spiritual of the Sanatana Dharma for the global improvement of the human being. And here is the Yoga Paripurna, a traditional yoga which has been able to evolve without losing its peculiarity, thickness, and its essence. It is a precious yoga with roots that found in a deep, conscious, and intense substrate. Why am I talking about roots? Because any splendid flower cut without roots can remain beautiful for days, but in the end, it becomes a sterile, dry thing. Instead, a plant with good roots and a fertile soil can thrive and give its fragrant flowers and tasty fruits. So, Yoga Paripurna is the perfect and effective instrument to get in touch with one's essence and to let that luxuriant and uncontaminated plant grow. It is a way for the realization of the person, a knowledge that opens mind. When we have an open mind, not conditioned by any line of thought, it is like a white light that contains all colors and illuminates, enlivening and exalting anything. A colored light, on the other hand, only knows this color, its colors, and by flattening all things monochromatically, it will not have the opportunity to know, understand, and appreciate it, the beauty of all their other colors. The same it is the true for the various spiritual lines. Knowing other creeds, it is truly amazing to see how these all have a common matrix. Or if there is no relationship between them, they still have something similar, the basis. Knowledge is a value, not a demerit. And intolerance and discrimination for the different are avoided. But what is paripurna then? Well, everything that is done with awareness, respect, presence, attention, both toward our fellow men and toward nature, animal, vegetable, and mineral. That is Yoga Paripurna. Respecting the planet and all this creature, that is Yoga Paripurna. Do not hurt others in body and feeling. That is Yoga Paripurna. Having an ethical correctness and respect toward what surround us and what life makes available to us, that is Yoga Paripurna. What qualities determine a Paripurna Yoga practitioner? Attention, respect, harmony, awareness, sense of responsibility. Overall, sense of the responsibility. These few qualities would be enough to make a better world and safeguard our species. Hari Om. That's that.
Amadio, unmute yourself.
Thank you so much, Amy. You are in time perfect. And Dileepji, tell me that is important for each of us. At the end, tell one prayer in your language, the first prayer or mantra, because we are in one interreligious event. Please, tell one prayer, something in your language now.
Now? Okay.
Yes, please.
Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo, Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Om Dhyanamula Guru Murti, Pujamula Guru Padam, Mantramula Guru Vakya, Mokshamura Guru Kripa, Amandram Dalankaram, Vyaptayenam Charam Charam, Tappadam Darsitam Yena, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Manataha Sri Jagannatha Madguru Sri Jagadguru Mahatma Sarvabhutatma Tasmahe Shri Gurave Namaha. Jnana Shakti Samarudam Tattvamala Vibhushitam Bhukti Mukti Pradattancha Tasmahe Shri Gurave Namaha. Stavaram Jagamam Vyaktam Yakinchit Sancharan Charam Tappadam Darsitanyena Tashmahe Shri Gurave Namaha. Yanavakta Sarvatam Avidam Parataram Akadam Sakidanyena Tashmahe Shri Gurave Namaha. Satam Savatam Shantam Vyomatita Niranjanaha Bindunada Kalatitaha Tashmahe Shri Gurave Namaha. Sarvashruti Shiroratna Samubhasita Murtaye Vedantambuja Suryaya Tashmahe Shri Gurave Namaha. Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tashmahe Shri Gurave Namaha. Tashmahe Shri Gurave Namaha. Tashmahe Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Shri Gurave Namaha. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Thank you, Amy, thank you. Now, I request Marco Bianco, delegate of Croatia for European Yoga Federation.
Marco Bianco is an advisor for Croatia at the European Yoga Council, member of European Yoga Federation and international advisor of the World Yoga Council. He first meets Eastern philosophies in the mid-80s, and since then, in his rich life experience, he had the opportunity to meet and work with many great teachers of many different traditions. Marco received his education in yoga from Carlo Patrian, the teacher who, after spending many years in India in contact with the most renowned yoga teachers of the 19th and 20th century, received the honorary title of Yoga Ratna and was the first person who brought yoga to Italy in the late 50s. Today's topic is the concept of faith in Raja Yoga. So please, Marco, unmute yourself.
Thank you very much. And thank you for giving me this opportunity to express my opinion, my study into the field of yoga, and especially into the field of the Patanjali Yoga Sutra, one of my best passion. So as I think many of you already know, great sage Patanjali, Maharishi Patanjali, is the author of the classical Raja Yoga text called the Yoga Sutra. This text is composed of 196 aphorisms divided in 4 books. The importance of this work is well known, as it is the first pragmatic exposition of the yoga philosophy as a path to be followed step by step in order to release egoism and ignorance created by the mind and to obtain knowledge in form of pure consciousness and in the end, liberation. Now, regarding the concept of faith, it can be sometimes taken as something like following a dogmatic belief or having hope in an undefined future or even believing in an inevitable fate. Nothing of that is matching with what Patanjali teaches us in his sutra. Patanjali actually is not directly speaking about faith, but we can refer to faith by considering and studying a very important concept exposed in his 2nd book. In this book, the aphorism number 45, the Sutra 45, speaks about the concept of Ishvara Pranidhana. It tells in Sanskrit, Samasiddhir Ishvara Pranidhanat. The translation will be, by total surrender to the Supreme Being, Samadhi, a higher state of consciousness, is attained. Samadhi is often defined as the mystical union between the seer and the seen, the outer and the inner, the perceiver and that is perceived. And when we perceive the divinity in the state of Samadhi, we become one with the divinity. Here Patanjali underlines the importance of letting go of all the illusionary goals that our mind and our ego constantly create. But to reach our innermost instance is not a goal, it is a life's commitment. And our life is actually seen as a sacred ceremony in which we should be aware that we are in constant presence of the divinity. And this is an act of pure faith, tangible, experienceable faith. The divinity is already here in our sacred existence. There is no quest, no search, only respect and reverence, faith in this sense. Once we are aware of that, we are in constant presence of God. There are no more words or acts guided by the ego, because the ego himself has melted into God. Of course, reaching such a state is a life's journey. It is a constant dedication to our spiritual path. On the other hand, this does not mean to be fanatic or dogmatic. One should be very careful. Surrender to the divinity does not mean to consume ourselves in fanatical application of tools, inflexibly behaving in a precise way, or following rules by running constantly after an idea of spirituality that in the end has nothing to do with the spirit, because it's only a masked face of the ego's unfulfilled neediness. But the only thing we need is actually consciousness. The spirit, the soul, God doesn't need anything, because it's the essence of perfection, immortal, everlasting perfection. Ishvara Pranidhana therefore means to be aware and awaken, to be receptive to the messages coming from our innermost world, and to let the ego surrender to them in order to return to our true nature. But make no mistake, the practice is important. It is mandatory, not just to stand and stare, but to take actions. Yogic action, possibly. Patanjali defines Kriya Yoga, the yoga of action, as composed by 3 different stages. He calls them respectively tapas, svatyaya, and as already mentioned, ishvara pranidhana. And tapas can be translated as effort, svadhyaya as the self-study. And we already saw that ishvara pranidhana means to surrender. Action in life should be taken by following the mentioned in 3 stages. When we begin something, of course, we put an initial effort, tapas. Without this initial input, nothing moves. There is no beginning. And after putting the effort, we look and study what is happening. What is the result of our effort? And this is Svadhyaya, the stage of observing, studying, also seeing different scenarios, or even getting inspiration from sacred text or experiences of others. Then follow the moment when we let go. We abandon expectation and enjoy the result of our previous effort, whatever they might appear, without judgment. In this way, we accept our karma and we work to fulfill our purpose in life, our dharma. And this will also give us the possibility to develop the inner strength that we need to properly face these challenging times and to transcend, to go beyond the standardized way of thinking that belongs to a dimension and to a society that has aged, that is not anymore in harmony with the nature and the earth. And more than ever, is now important to understand that yoga is not a sport, even if it requires development of certain physical and mental skill. And yoga is not a blind belief or a dogma, but something that we put in practice constantly in order to rise the consciousness, in order to evolve, but to evolve together. No man is an island. We are all connected. To develop our individual consciousness means to help the collective consciousness to develop. It is not important which kind of yoga we practice or our religion belonging. The important is our individual effort that together with the effort of others will create that common effort leading us to unity, unity in diversity. Then we can manifest together a new golden age. It is indeed possible, but under the condition that we understand that the evolution and the future of humanity do not depend to others, but to our own ability to step up to another plane of consciousness in harmony with the whole nature, with the whole planet. The earth, as a sentient being, is already asking this since many years. We have to listen. There is no time left. We have to do it now. And this will mean to finally manifest the dream of all the spiritual generations of all times, a world of global peace, harmony, mutual understanding, and love. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanao Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvina Vaditamastu Ma Vitvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you very much again for giving me this occasion and possibility.
Thank you so much, Marco. We are in time. Good, good. Now I think that we have some problems because I don't see Françoise from England. Sarah?
I've tried to call her. But she hasn't answered. The phone doesn't, there is some problem on the line, so.
No, I imagine. No problem. No problem. Now I request Jadranko Miklec from Croatia, board advisor of European Yoga Federation.
Yogacharya Jadranko Miklec is a Yogacharya, yoga and Ayurveda therapist, teacher of transcendental meditation and Maharishi Vedic science. Banu Ashudi Bishagacharya, herbal scientist, president of the Institute for Yoga and Ayurveda, SUN. Jadranko Miklec teaches yoga in Europe, America, and other countries, India and China. He gained knowledge about yoga from Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, A.G. Mohan, direct disciple of Sri Krishnamacharya, Maharishi Swami Devmurti, Yogacharya Dr. Mukund Bole, other Yogacharyas, and his own insight, which he gained through the long practice and discovering deeper understanding of yoga. He is a writer of 6 books about yoga. Also, he has experience with the application of yoga and Ayurveda to sport, like tennis, football, diver, judo, volleyball, etc. He is here today with this topic, yoga brings fulfillment of inner faith through giving experience of Atman, which is the basis of inner faith, which unifies Atman with Brahman, individual self with cosmic self, which is God about all religion and faith speak. So please, Mr. Jadranko Miklec, can you unmute yourself? We are here to hear to your voice, your words. Thank you.
Namaste. Thank you very much. And I am happy to be part of this beautiful assembly. And this is such a noble attempt to bring that quality of interfaith and create that wave of harmony between all religions on the planet Earth, and finding the common source of all religions and finding the faith which is bringing us to that source. And as we know, the faith is very important in life, not only in regard to any kind of religious attempt to have faith in God, but to have faith in anything. It is difficult to have faith in people if they don't behave in a harmonious way, or if they want to hurt, or if they behave not in accord with the laws of nature, or in accord with, as we speak about and Amy Beautiful said about Sanatana Dharma. So that's why it's very important to establish these qualities within us. And then we can faith in us, we can have faith in us. If we don't have faith in us, how we can have faith in anything. So, and to have faith in us, we need to realize in us our true nature, who we are. Because if we don't know who we are, then on whom we can have faith, then that faith will be always changing and it will not be fruitful to support life. So that's why the yoga gives eternal solution to that, is to realize who we are or to realize our true nature. So there are different practices from yoga. And all those practices has the aim of bringing our consciousness to that state where it becomes free from any kind of objects than itself. This is what Maharishi Patanjali says, tada drashtuh swarupe avasthanam. That we can get that experience of becoming conscious of our true nature, of our own self. What we are the consciousness, and then finding that our true reality, which is actually embodying within itself all the qualities which are expressed in his qualities, what Patanjali speaks about, qualities of yama, which are the qualities of that state of our true self. And then when we realize that value, then somehow this is the stable basis for the faith. And then we can start real living of a real faith, and having faith in the nature and having faith in everything what we perceive, but from that stable inner cognition. So first, when we realize our true nature, Atman, so because on the basis of ego, it is difficult to really live the true value of the faith. But when we realize that our true nature is not ego, but Atman, then this becomes the starting point to search for God. That Atman realized that he is Brahman. That individual self realize that it is, in a sense, real identity of individual self is universal self. And then that melting with the God, with that cosmic self, and then that state of unity is achieved. So the life is state of unity as at the basis, and state of diversity in its expressed value. But we need to come to the state of unity. Then we can integrate that vision of unity in all diversity. So the unity cannot be achieved on the basis of any intellectual concept, on the level of the manas or on the mind, neither on the level of understanding or buddhi, neither on any expressed level of the life, but only on the level of the self. So that's why this is the most important emphasis of the yoga practice is experience. It is to have experience of our true nature. And what Patanjali is stating at the beginning, yoga chitta vritti nirodha, to go beyond any concepts, any kind of activity, any vrittis, and to come to that state of pure being, coming back to our true nature, to our soul, transcendental aspect of our soul, which gets connected then naturally with the time, with the recognition to be the identical and in unity with the cosmic soul or with the God. So to reach that level of nirguna Brahman and melt with that value. And then the faith is fulfilled. The state of the faith is, which is then upholding life. The faith becomes dharma. And then that kind of faith is upholding all life, not only individual, but all cosmic life. So in that sense, any religious organization in the world has a beautiful idea to establish these values in the life of their people and their followers. and religion means religio, means to connect back, to get connection. So to get connection first with your own Atman, with your own self. So not being out of ourself and searching outside and trying in this outer world to create unity by trying adjusting diversities. But coming to the source, coming back to the source, and this is the spirit of every religion, is that means that coming back to the source, religio, connect back to the source, to our own source, and then to the source of our true existence, which is God. To find first that Atman and then unify through that to the God. So this is in some way that perspective which that interfaith, that basis of that is interfaith, to reach our Atman, and then the aim of all religions will be fulfilled. Thank you very much. So, and I would like just to express one prayer of Metta Bhavana. Let all beings be happy, let all beings live in peace, and let all beings be blissful. Thank you very much.
Maestro, l'audio, il tuo microfono.
Thank you, Jadranko. Thank you to you. Are so many years that we work together in the world, in Germany, in Croatia, in other countries. And now, please, I saw my friend, my dear French friend, but he is not only French, because he lives in India. Some problem, please? There is some problems? No? Oh, now I request André, Riehl, André G. Please.
Okay, so,
yes.
So now André Riehl practices yoga, has practicing yoga since the age of 11. By the age of 24, he first stayed in a monastery in the Himalayas before wandering along the roads of India, meeting many traditional masters with whom he sometimes stayed, studied very specific techniques, teachings from classical as well as tantric yoga practices. After some searching years, meeting Kashmiri Babu, a wandering ascetic from Shaiva tradition, he undergone a deep study retreat into a spiritual quest. Also, very touched by his meeting with Krishnamurti, Sri Ananda Mahima, he studied two other important aspects of inner path related to these two great instructors, discrimination and relationship. Today, Yogi André G is bringing his topic, faith and religious mind. So please, André, unmute yourself. We are here for hearing your speech. Thank you.
Hari Om, Hari Om. Good evening or good afternoon, wherever you are. We are into this extraordinary period where internet is so much used and we are much more connected than we have never been, thanks to this virus. And that's a very new situation. And we're pretty lucky of being all together thanks to this technical devices. And I joined this European Yoga Federation quite a few years ago, and I'm happy that we are kind of relaunching it from my point of view. And I'm very happy to see friends that I haven't seen since so many years today. So just for introducing a little bit, for the past 20 years, I've been going on roaming all over the planet and teaching what I kind of rediscovered that is called Nidra Yoga, which is a quest into the content of what we call consciousness. And a few discoveries reach out, from which I'm going to talk this evening. That is, it is not so much theoretical. It really comes from the inner discoveries that have been done through years and years. I am into this yoga since, gosh, almost 60 years now. 60 years. And about 25 years of teaching in different contexts and countries and parts of the world, where I could discover that whatever the culture is, whatever the geographical situation we are in, whatever the past we have gone through, there are few things that are absolutely common to mankind, so that it becomes obvious that there's only one mind. There are many ideas, there are many thoughts, but there's only one mind. And into the mind there are, let's call, different levels, different aspects. This meeting is about faith, and we rarely question what faith is. It is not so easy to talk about it. It's easier to talk of what it is not. Maybe by putting aside what it is not, we might discover what it is. Into the studies and the discoveries we have done with quite many students, when we are into an inner quest, we are using mainly our mind for this quest, for searching. Even when it comes to what people call hatha yoga, physical exercise, the mind has to give an order for going into a particular position. And the mind has to give an order for concentration into this position. And if we talk about this without Sanskrit words, but to make it as clear as possible, it has to do with the relationship the mind has to something. There are two types of relation. The first one is when we are related to precisely an object, something, whatever this object is. And the relationship with the object develops a belief. We believe in the existence of that object. And we believe through our logical or rational part of the mind, the thought itself. The belief requires a thought related to a defined object. Defined means an object that has a shape or color, that has a physical existence. We believe into the existence of this object. Now there is a second level in the relation to an object that we call trust. Trust has something to do with not the logical, rational mind, but the psychological mind. That is, all those psychological patterns we have developed through decades, through years and years, which are not well precise, but they pretty much control our thinking, they control our emotions, they control our behaviors, the psychological mind. And trust has to do with giving some importance to an object that is not well defined. The logical mind has a belief into something that is a defined object. The psychological mind has a trust into a non-clear or non-defined object. Could be a concept, for example. Both of them, belief and trust, are working because there is a relation in between this thing that I call me and an object. Once again, the thing that I call me it exists because we are identified mainly either the body, or we could say the body matter, or identified with the mind. It is not the body that has a belief. It is not the body that has a trust. It is only the mind. Once again, it's a way for agreeing on the meaning of words. But once again, belief is a relation in between a defined object and the logical, rational thinking. Trust is the relation in between a non-identified object and the psychological mind. And then there is a third type. That is a relationship to non-object, relationship to nothingness, something that has no defined existence and that has no defined concept. I don't know who is turning his paper, but it'd be nice if you could switch off your mic. Now, the relation to non-object has to do with what in Nidra Yoga we call faith. That is a state of relationship to something that is undefined. And this undefining quality of relationship is only possible when the mind is silent. So faith is understood as a state where there is no definition because the mind is totally silent. This faith shows itself to be a natural quality of a no-mind state. By no-mind state, this is what we call a religious mind. Religious mind has absolutely nothing to do with all those organizations who claim to be religions, who have brought since millennia so many conflicts, so many wars, so many atrocities. Nothing to do with all those organizations. The religious mind is a silent mind. And it has a particularity. It exists without any reason. It exists without any causes. And one of this natural activity is the religious mind or the silent mind is linking everything together. It's a state of togetherness. We also say it is the only real intelligence of the being. That is what we generally call the intelligence, is the movement of the logical thought, the rational thinking, which is related to defined object, which brings beliefs. So what we mean by real intelligence of the being is when this quality of togetherness arises. And it can only arise if there is a silent mind. And this is what we call the religious mind. This religious mind has a very mysterious and unpredictable activities. It is like being in love with nothing special. A state of love without any object. And when this state becomes a little more active or materialistic, it has to do with compassion. Compassion means a quality of passion for whole life. Quality of passion for the wholeness of life, but also a quality of passion for all the different aspects of life. This together, this what we call the real intelligence of the being, with this quality of natural compassion, this is where it becomes very, very mysterious. Because these two together are bringing up action. It's a very strange quality of action because it's an action that has no motive. It has no goal. And what is even much more mysterious is that it has no consequences. You know, in this different yoga traditions and in Hinduism at large, there is this word which is used, which is called the law of causes and consequences. They call it karma, kra, and the root kra means action. I think it was Marco who was talking about kriya, action. And it is understood that every action that we do comes from an unknown causes. That is, every action that we do is already a consequence. And in itself, it is also causes, and it will bring a consequence in future. Which means we'll always have to run after activities for facing consequences and to deal with them. This quality of no mind state that brings by itself an action through real intelligence and compassion. Very strangely, these actions have no consequences. As if the process of causes and consequences was stopped. So what we try to do in this Nidra studies is to inquire into the states of belief, states of trust, the state of faith. What I mean by inquiring is there is a kind of methodology to bring a very relaxed mind and simultaneously very pinpoint concentrated mind. When this state of relaxation and concentration of the mind are together, then the inquiry can start.
André,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
I know
You are telling very nice words, but now time is finished.
I know,
Okay.
but this is the end precisely.
Please.
So the end is this inquiry into the different state of the mind starts from a quiet, relaxed, let's say, and concentrated mind. This is what Nidra Yoga is about. That's it. I have my watch with me.
Thank you so much. Can you chant one prayer, one mantra, please? In your language, in French, in Sanskrit, in Hindi. I know that you know Hindi too. As you prefer, please.
Okay. So in Nidra, at the end of any session, we had a dedication chanting that you probably know, some of you. And it goes like that. Asatomo sangamayam tamasomo jyotirgamayam pratyurmam amritam gamayam Sarvesham swastir bhavatu Sarvesham Shantirvahatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Om Shanti 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 Om.
Thank you so much, dear André. I am so happy that we meet you again. Okay, and now we do a little pause. No, it's not a pause. I want to ask to Mimoun to be present. I saw him to be present, and please come vieni nella nostra trasmissione, vieni dentro e facciamo che lui aveva voglia di ringraziare tutte le autorità, quindi preghiamo Mimoun di entrare con noi. Traduci, perché guarda che c'è la trasmissione su Facebook.
So please, Mimoun, to get on your mic on, as we know you want to say thanks to everybody, so please get in.
Yes, okay. First of all, I apologize for my retard. This morning I had we've been here 2 hours. When I came, doesn't work. When at the beginning, I stayed there 15 minutes or more trying to connect. Normally, I want to say thanks to Dileepji to invite us, and also to all members of the European Yoga Federation. That's the most important, is to say thank you. And I appreciate very much that we are now, once again, in the world to give to people what we can do, and we can, everything we can help. That's my message for the moment.
Okay.
This time, I asked Dileepji to tell us something about this event, because I read in the chat that we are here talking much about yoga than spirituality. So it's the first time that we are involved by winner, and that's the mistake normally. But we are here.
Dileep, please.
I need to do, I have to say. È tutto che io voglio dire.
Dileep, please, are you present? Can you tell us some words?
Samasta Sukino Bhavantu Loga Samasta Sukino Bhavantu Loga Samasta Sukino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Namaste everyone. It is my great pleasure and honor to join with you. All of you are my old friends and the new friends. So we'll go to the point why we are doing this event today. Because UN created the Interfaith Harmony Week from February 1st to 7. The last 36 years, we are putting interfaith gatherings in different parts of India and different countries. I'm glad most of you were part of our movement. I'm from the World Yoga community. We are the organization associated with the United Nations Department of Global Communication. We promote all the sustainable development goals of the United Nations agenda. So we thought Yogi is supposed to be part of the UN movement because we are also part of the global community. When I look at around the world, yogis are more peaceful people than other people. We come from different tradition or religious groups. We may have different faith in spirituality. We speak in different languages. Doesn't matter. We all are human, chosen, divine being on this earth to work together and care each other. So I'll go to the write-up from the UN because we have to know what is it. Building bridges across boundaries, World Interfaith Harmony Week is an annual event observed during the first week of February. World Interfaith Harmony was proclaimed by the United Nations General Assembly in Resolution A/RES/65/5 adopted on 20th October 2010. In the resolution, the General Assembly points out that mutual understanding and inter-religious dialogue constitute important dimensions of a culture of peace and establishes World Interfaith Harmony Week as a way to promote harmony between all people, regardless of their faith. Recognizing the imperative need for dialogue among different faiths and religions to enhance mutual understanding, harmony, and cooperation among people, the General Assembly encourages all states to spread the message of interfaith harmony and goodwill in the world's churches, mosques, temples, synagogues, and other religious places of worship during that week on a voluntary basis and according to their own religious traditions or convictions. Here, we are celebrating today, the first day of the February. Last week, we started different programs. So I am glad I can communicate with my friends from Europe. I appreciate Acharya from Mimoun and Acharya Amadio Bianchi Suryananda and André and Gayatridevi and Sukadev from Germany and all other people. I'm so glad we are coming in a yogic point of view to promote peace and harmony around the world through our conference. Some of you know, I came from a Christian family and the Hindu family. My father was from a Brahmin family. They converted to Christianity in AD 52. 12 families converted to Christianity in India. One is my father's family. We have bishops in our family. My mother's side is a popular Ayurvedic Acharyas and yoga people. And even we have bishops in our monks in our family. So when I grew up, I had a great opportunity to interact with the different groups. When I came to America for a gate, and their well is mine. So it became like our family. You know, this is the way we are building up peace and harmony. You know, easy to talk about one religion. It's very hard to interact with other religious people. It's very hard. This is my life experience. The way people speak, the way people step on other people and insult instead of respecting others and make an inclusion. So here we're making a good step. Even though this is the first event in Interfaith as a partnership between my organization and the European Federation. We did so many events in Europe, right? In Spain, Salamanca, and Romania, India, and Argentina. We did so many events, beautiful events. Some people will go with the good faith. Some people may destroy the relationships. People like me wait and observe and build up. That's the way I go, you know, because we have a precious life to celebrate our existence, I believe. We have short life, actually, from the first inhalation to the last inhalation. That is the life we have in this body. We came from another body and we are going to another body, but in this life. So why we have to create problems between people? That is not our job. We have to help each other, love each other, care about everyone, live in harmony. That's the main vision of United Nations. As the Secretary of the Religious Committee at the UN, NGOs, I invite all of you to our final finale. That's a gala party on this Sunday. The celebration is called 36th Annual World Interfaith Festival and the World Interfaith Harmony Week celebration. Some of you are going to speak, and we have music, dance, all the celebration. We are going to celebrate our global community. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Now we open this door and we work together, Dileepji, as in the past, okay? Thank you so much. Thank you. Now I request Vikrant Singh Tomar from India, that is board advisor of European Yoga Federation.
So Vikrant Singh Tomar, he's a director of the United Consciousness Global USA, a global initiative for creating an integrated world by removing barriers of limited identities and establishing holistic well-being. He's the director of Project Self, Inc., based in USA, one of its kind organization to promote Vedantic philosophy and culture across the world. He is part of the board of the European Yoga Federation, precious organization disseminating yogic teaching in all countries in Europe, and also UMS India Ultimate Management Solution, one of the leading training and consultancy organization of India, and also Acharyas Kids Academy in India, a social initiative to promote Vedic culture, along with Western acumen to the kids at the elementary level education. Tonight, he is here to propose united consciousness, the need of our times. So please, Dr. Vikrant Singh, unmute yourself.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And my deep gratitude to Dileepji for organizing such a wonderful event and with such a pious intentions. My thanks to Swami Suryanandaji also for making it sure that I can be a part of this initiative. Dear friends, since last 20 lakh years of existence of human on the planet, and since last 5,000 years of civilized history till today, there have been three struggles of mankind. First, the struggle of man versus man. Second, the struggle of man versus within. And third, the struggle of man versus nature. And if you see, in all these three struggles, since last 5,000 years of civilized history, we have not improved, rather we have deteriorated. The struggle of man versus man has increased, man versus within has increased, and even in man versus nature, we have only learned to be pre-warmed by nature. We could not win the nature. So there is a threat perception through evolution that we have, a fear. Fear from each other, fear from nature, fear from within even. And that led to disintegration, divisions, and destructions, like Dileepji has been talking about. It is said that old civilizations got destroyed by the external attacks, And the civilizations to come will be destroyed by internal attacks. What are those internal attacks? I feel there are 14 basic internal attacks, 14 basic divides this planet is suffering from. First is racism, leads to Holocaust. Casteism, dividing divinity into disintegration. Status, winning clan or losing clan. While listening to this, please think about the 5,000 years of history, human history. Status, whether you belong to winning or a losing clan, if you are from losing clan, you'll be enslaved for centuries. Fanatic nationalism led to 2 world wars, killing millions of people. Regionalism led to civil wars. Orthodoxies of religion led to 1,000 years of crusade. Gender divides. Women had to fight for 3 millennia just to get voting rights. Color, slave trades. People like Abraham Lincoln, John F. Kennedy, Martin Luther King had to give away their life fighting for that, against it. Prosperity, rich versus poor. Thoughts, divides on the basis of thoughts, capitalist versus communist, led to Cold War for 50 years. And so many nuclear weapons, good enough to destroy Earth for many times. Division on the basis of class 1, 2, 3, 4 citizens. You cannot create a class 1 nation with class 2 citizens in it. Next is sex orientation. Lesbians, gay, transgenders still are fighting to getting just a gaze of respect in the society. Then the species, human being considering themselves the owner of the planet and exploiting animals just for the taste buds. And the last is habitat. When habitants consider themselves separate from the habitat and then they start exploiting it. So these are the divides, and this is our times we are living in. And that has culminated into making human beings the most intelligent species on the planet and the most unhappy species on the planet. It means somewhere we have parked our intelligence wrong. So what is the solution? And the solution lies in spirituality. Diversity is natural. It is authentic, but it is the division which is man-made and which is synthetic. So spirituality can be the bridge between our present condition and the desired condition. If the problems are same since last 5,000 years, the solution should also come from the same source. When I say spirituality, spiritual plus ritual, spiritual. Ritual means my conduct, my actions. Spirit means that oneness, one stream of consciousness that spread from everybody, from me to you, from you to me, one flow of consciousness. And there is only one yardstick of a spiritual person. If we are truly spiritual, then all scripture says that there is only one yardstick on the basis of which we can identify. And the yardstick is being samdarshi. Samdarshi means when I can see myself in you and I can see you in me and we both can see us in everybody else. That is what is spirituality. When these limited divisions into oneness, uniqueness, then we become Samadarshi. A silversmith was asked, when do you exactly decide that you need to take the silver out of the furnace? Then the silversmith, smiling, replies, I look at the silver, and if I can see my reflection in the silver, I realize now it is furnished. Now it is ready to be brought out of furnace. It is ready. Similarly, when Lord or humanity can see reflection in us, When I can see my reflection in André and André can see his reflection in me, when I can see my reflection in Sarah and Sarah can see her reflection in me, then actually we reach to a condition which is called Advaita, non-dual. They are not two, we are one. We are one, and that union is called yoga. Union of everybody, of all consciousness together. Schrödinger, a famous scientist of quantum physics, used to say, beyond this duality prevails a singularity. A singularity beyond all these diversity. So I am so thankful to Dileepji and Swami Suryanandaji that we are celebrating this event of unity in diversity. I call upon on behalf of European Yoga Federation that everybody from the community start contributing in this. If you are an industrialist, start financing such researches which promote integrity, which promote uniformity beyond these diversities. If you are a research scholar, research in that. If you are a teacher, start training and teaching students in that, so that we can create an environment where our kids will survive, will breathe in an environment where everybody loves each other, as they say, with Sat, Chit and Ananda. I'm so happy that I got the chance to speak here. My deep gratitude again to Guruji Dileepji and Swami Suryanandaji. Thank you very much. I'm open for any questions because my speech was supposed to be for 15 minutes. I completed 5 minutes before. So if anybody has anything to share or ask, that person is welcome. We have 5 minutes.
We have 7 minutes. So see, somebody want to do some ask can do, okay? Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Dr. Vikrant, for your good speech, nice speech. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Somebody has some?
Yes, yes, André, please. Your voice, you need to unmute.
I just want to thank you. And I just hope we'll meet in Ujjain pretty soon.
Yes, yes, yes. You are heartily welcome, André.
Please, some other people?
Yes, I would like to thank you very much. I liked very much your last saying, seeing yourself in the other, and the other sees his reflection in you. And there is from Natha tradition, beautiful saying, Adesh Sachit Ananda, and then the other replies, Sachit Ananda Adesh. It means, I see in you Sachit Ananda, my true nature, which is Sachit Ananda, I see that in you, and the other says the same. So this is a beautiful tradition, very ancient, and looking to the eyes of each other and seeing its reflection in the eye of the other person. And it's interesting that the eye is the only place on the human body in which you can see your whole body reflected.
Yes. I thank you, Jadranko ji, and it reminds me of one thing which, when Raman Maharshi was asked, how should we behave with others? So beautifully Raman Maharshi replied, he said, there are no others. There are no others at all in this universe. When a baby cries, all mothers across the globe have the same reaction and response. When a human being suffers, every human being across the globe feels the same pain. And then we can say we are living in a unified world. And with such initiatives like Dileepji has taken, I'm very hopeful that we can create such a world very soon. If the forces of diversity, forces of division did not stop, then if you go through the history, even the forces of divine never stops. So we are the forces of divine. We will make it sure that it will happen. Thank you, Jadranko ji. Any other question? I'm still left with 3 minutes.
Yes. Yes.
This is not a question.
Yep,
Normally,
please.
for us, in martial arts, you must be the mirror of the other. No fights. That's become with time. Time, if you feel yourself in the other one, there is no fight. That's the pure martial arts. So, no violence. That's all.
Thank you. Thank you, Mimoun ji. Yep, yep.
All the presenters are going very well. We have over 1,200 people are watching around the globe. Congratulations to everybody.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Dileepji, to be the thread which has collected all the people together.
So,
and as I say, from the thread perception to threat perception, you are the thread that connects all of us together.
So like 35 years of friendship are here.
Swami Suryananda has got this connection with everybody, it seems.
Correct.
So thank you so much. Thank you. And now I request Sukadev, Volker, Bretz from Germany, that is board advisor of European Yoga Federation.
So Sukadev Volker Bretz is the founder of Yoga Vidya. He knows wonderfully how to transmit profound wisdom humorously. His special ability is to motivate yoga aspirants to practice intensively, to see a higher meaning in daily experiences, and to bring more energy and heart into everyday life. Sukadev Bretz is the author of 10 books, among them commentaries on Yoga Sutra and Bhagavad Gita, and the recently published Royal Path to Equanimity. He is quite active spreading yoga via the internet in yoga videos, podcasts in English and German. Sukadev had spiritual experiences from childhood on. As a youngster, he was fascinated by the possibilities of the human mind and started with regular meditation as a teenager. He spent a few times several months in intense meditation and pranayama. In 1992, Sukadev founded Yoga Vidya, now one of the leading yoga movements in Europe. Yoga Vidya has 4 major ashrams, nearly 10 yoga centers, and 20,000 yoga teachers. Today, he lives in Germany, in Old Bad Meinberg, getting inspiration and energy from this dynamic spiritual teacher. And tonight, Sukadev ji is talking to us about the 7 principles of spirituality. So please.
I only want to correct one thing. It's not 10 yoga centers, but 100 yoga centers.
Oh, did I say 10? Sorry. So sorry.
No problem.
Thank you.
We can understand. Thank you, Amelia. Thank you for your good work. Thank you. Please, Sukadev.
Om Namah Shivaya. Greetings to all, obeisance to all, especially who care about harmony and exchange between religions. I'm very happy to be part of this World Interfaith Harmony Week celebration, and I'm happy to hear that it's the 36th annual World Interfaith Festival. Exchange and heartfelt connection between the members of the different religions is so important. Religions should be and can be a source of peace, of love, of harmony. Interfaith events are so important. I'm very grateful for Guru Dileepji, also for Mimoun and Swami Suryananda, to enable the representatives of European Yoga Federation to be part of this World Interfaith Harmony Week celebration. My theme is 7 principles of spirituality, especially in Yoga Vedanta. I want to start with some prayer. I will say it in Sanskrit and in English. It's similar to the one that André just recited, but I think it's a very wonderful, inspiring prayer. Om Sarvesham Swasti Bhavatu, Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu, Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. May auspiciousness be unto all, may peace be unto all, may prosperity be unto all, may well-being be unto all. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina, Sarve Santu Niramayaha, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Bhukha Bhag Bhavet. May well-being and happiness be unto all, may peace be unto all, may nobody suffer from disease and lack of understanding. Asatoma Satkamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityo Mamritam Gamaya. Lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to light, from mortality to immortality. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishate. The divine is whole. The universe is whole. The divine without the universe is still the divine. The divine is in the universe and beyond all. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om peace, peace, peace. I am from in the tradition of Yoga Vedanta, and there are many ways to describe the principles of spirituality. And I believe these 7 principles to be universal, meaning they can be found in many religions under different names. In Yoga Vedanta, we call them Brahman, Maya, Dukkha, Moksha, Abhyasa, Karma, and Kripa. First is Brahman. Brahman means, one way to see it is, there's one divine principle behind everything. In everybody, there's the divine principle. Behind this universe, there's this divine principle. Universe is not just something external. The universe is a manifestation of the divine. God is omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscient, and can be experienced as such. Second principle is Maya. Maya means illusion. And in a simple way, it means our perception of ourselves, of each other, of the world is deceiving, is an illusion. We see ourselves as separate entities. We don't feel the presence of God. We don't feel connected. And that is erroneous understanding which can be overcome. Third principle is dukkha. Dukkha means pain and suffering. And this dukkha is an existential suffering. It does not just come from others not being nice to one, doesn't come from not having enough, but it comes as long as you're in the illusion of being a separate being from others, as long as you don't experience the divine in everything, as long as you don't feel love as your basic emotion, you are in dukkha. Fourth principle is moksha. Moksha means liberation. It means it is possible to come out of Maya to Brahman, meaning out of illusory understanding, you can come to the experience of the divine. And there's not just one big moksha, even though we hope to reach it one day, but you can also say it is possible to have glimpses of Brahman, of the divine in daily life. And we can do something for it. And that's the fifth principle, which you can call abhyasa. Abhyasa means effort, practice. We can do something to experience the divine. And each religion, each spiritual path has their own practices. We could say, if you want to classify it, it's especially sadhana, sattva, and satsang. Sadhana meaning spiritual practices. In yoga, it's asana, pranayama, meditation, it's recitation of mantras, kirtan, and many others. We do something every day as spiritual practices. Can also be prayers and reading of scriptures. And then sattva, easiest translation would be ethical behavior. If we want to experience the divine, it's important to practice charity, generosity, purity in daily life. That will lead us to the experience of the divine. And the third would be satsang. This means gathering together with others to experience that. Like right now we have a kind of satsang. We're here together to remind each other of the presence of the divine, of the presence of some higher force. If we practice together, it's easier to experience it. The sixth principle is karma. So many meaning of karma. Here I just want to say, karma can mean we can learn from all experiences. What happens is not just accidental. We can see the divine force behind everything. And whatever happens is somehow a lesson of the divine to us. We can learn by accepting the lessons that life gives us. The seventh element is kripa, and kripa means grace, which means we cannot force the divine to reveal itself to us, but there's always an element of grace. We can do something, we can have an open mind, we can practice, but in the end, when we have spiritual experiences, when we have intuitive revelation of the divine, it always comes as grace. So we can try to see Brahman in everything, the divine. We can be a little bit understanding for others because we know on a relative plane we're in illusion. We ourselves are in illusion, others are also. If we know that, we can have love and compassion to all, even though they might be erroneous. We might just be as erroneous or more erroneous. As long as we're in this world, there's dukkha, there is pain. To get out of the pain, there is the possibility to experience the divine, to achieve the vision of the divine, the experience of the divine. We can practice, we can do something to experience it, we can learn from all experiences, and we can be sure the divine grace will lead us to this higher experience. I want to conclude with a prayer of Swami Shivananda. He calls it a universal prayer. O adorable Lord of mercy and love, salutations and prostrations unto thee. Thou art omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscient. Thou art existence, consciousness, bliss absolute. Thou art the indweller of all beings. Grant us an understanding heart, equal vision, balanced mind, faith, devotion, and wisdom. Grant us inner spiritual strength to resist temptations and to control the mind. Free us from egoism, greed, hatred, anger, and jealousy. Fill our hearts with divine virtues. Let us behold Thee in all these names and forms. Let us serve Thee in all these names and forms. Let us ever remember Thee. Let us ever sing Thy glories. Let Thy name be ever on our lips. Let us abide in Thee forever and ever. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Few seconds of silent prayer. May all beings attain peace and harmony. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace be unto all. Thank you very much, and may we all spread unity. May we all spread the message of world interfaith harmony. Om Shanti.
Unmute
Nice.
yourself.
Thank you, Sukadev. Thank you so much. And now I request Boulahfa Mimoun Abdullah from Spain, Board Advisor of European Yoga Federation.
Mr. Mimoun Boulahfa was born in Morocco and then he moved to Spain, where he studied and graduated in tourism and business management. He started to practice yoga in 1965 and then he graduated as a yoga pandit. He participated to many international conventions and celebrations, and is Master Yoga by the International Yoga Federation, Master Yoga by the Argentine Yoga Federation, and Master Yoga by the European Yoga Federation. He is also an Ayurvedic therapist since 2010. And we are here, dear Mimounji, to hear your words for us tonight. So please unmute yourself. Thank you.
Okay, I hope I'm the last one, okay? Isn't it?
Yes, yes, you are the last.
My sound is okay?
Yes, I hear perfectly. Don't worry, you can speak.
Okay. Probably I will do different. I take this meeting to different direction. All the time that I participated was like today. Every day, everyone used to say what he is doing and which one is the way. But the question is, the normal people, they understand us, our words, they receive our philosophy, because what the resume of this life is different. First, I would like to remember I quote at a French guy whose name is André Margot. He's an activist, adventurer, writer, and anti-fascist militant. He said, the 21st century will be the spirituality, or it won't be. So, what's the message? The message is, or we take the spirituality to all the people, or the spirituality, it will finish. Today, now we are in the beginning of the first decade of 2001. And it is not certain that this new time, it's deeply spiritual. And where the spirit is transformed in a self-help field, where one of the most profitable branches of the cultural industry in the West. We can see them. We can see the religious militancy is becoming a haven for angry crowds along the planet and a sign of identity, not necessarily spirituality. There are still now many people willing to die and kill in the name of God. This 21st century talks a lot about religion, but what do we have? Because this time is robotic time. Internet of everything and sensation. Highly developed artificial intelligence. The fusion of man with machines. And finally, the definitive division of the human race, whose unity are thinking about. So my idea, we are focusing the spirituality and religion from the old holy books, but we are in the 21st century and life changed too much. Here in other meeting, Amadio or Emi used to take me to talk about Islam, but I am not too good in Islam, not too good in nothing. I'm like the Dileepji, my family is Muslim. I have too much knowledge in that, in Christianity, in Vedas, in everywhere. So I'm multinational, multi-religious. So how we can manage with all those theories, the people who are now try to, let me say, what is the geographical movement of religion? Let's go to Africa. What's happened to Africa? What is now Africa? What are doing there the religions? The hypocrisy of the, I don't know, I don't want to define which one, but there is a hypocrisy. That hypocrisy is universal. It's universal because everybody look to other place. Geographically, we go to Middle East. Middle East, Syria people, Syria is 10 years in a war, but it's not their war. Somebody go there. So what is about religion? What's happening in the religion in the South America? Same problem. What's happening in the United States? What's happened? What is the religion? Because we won't do many things, but what politics say about religion? What is the economy about religion? That's the problem. The problem is to unify ourselves, because that is not difficult. All religions, they have their own principles, ceremonies, mantras, sadhana, everything. Okay, but everybody is going to the same way, to the correct spirituality. But the spirituality is, now I will talk that about as a little science, okay? When a spermatocyte is going to ovum, in this moment, the genome is started to work. And in this time, our aortic disc is start to be there. When we was born, we are the disc, hard disk of all the history of life from the beginning. From the beginning. Maybe some people, they don't know that one genome has 10 million atoms, only one genome. In the genome, we have all our life from the beginning to the moment. So it is important, my message, to say to everybody, unity in diversity means forget your identity or try to be the identity of the others. So I can't tell too much thing, but I think with this message, it's enough to understand that we need to work hard and in every direction. I will say one prayer in Arab. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Qul Allahu ahad, Allahu samad, lam yalid, lam yulad, lam yakun lahu kufuwan ahad. This is the same definition of Rahma. Same definition. There is no difference. If some people want to know more, there are some programs, similarities between Islam and Hinduism. That's important because differences don't make peace. Differences don't make family. Differences don't big. When somebody talk about consciousness, consciousness is when Purusha starts, then conscious develop and develop Prakriti. So consciousness, all of us, we are in that consciousness. Well, if you want or if you don't want, but we have different methods. And those methods, I'm sorry the language, should not make difference. And please, we should work to see how we can do things without those politics, without those economy. We are living in a very, very hard moment. People maybe don't understand. And my opinion is from one guy of Africa. No, normally Africa, we don't know nothing. But remember those days, a private man, a rich man said to a most powerful president of the world, you can't say what you are telling now to the people. They lack it. They lack the president of the most important country of the world. Private power a state of all the other countries. So I'm sorry if I say all that, but if we change some different things, we never will do nothing. I want to remember one thing. In Milan, normally they tell me, Mimoun, please, you are the only Muslim, come sit here. Then I sit. One woman, 50 years or some, when we were sitting there, she asked us, please, what you do or what we can do to see the light? One of us start to count all the or he do in his school. That woman, she didn't understood nothing. When he finished, I asked the woman, please, mom, what are you doing in life normally? And she is a mom. She has a little garden. She take care of his son. She do everything in the way. So all people should know all those theories, or normal people can reach God. Because everybody, it will reach God with those theories or without those. So please, let's be Arjuna sometime and not only theory. I'm sorry, I apologize if I offend somebody. Thank you. Gracias, grazie mille.
Thank you, Mimoun. I want to ask to my dear Amelia if she can, now we want to conclude, but before conclude, I want to tell one part that I told in another Congress, because I believe in peace, I believe in unity, in diversity. Per favore, mi traduci?
Yes.
Mi sento di affermare che una qualificata società di oggi, se è vero che vogliamo essere migliori, deve essere basata sul rispetto e sulla presa di coscienza della diversità come espressione dell'infinito.
I would like to affirm that if we want to be a better society, that we should start to work together. Maestro, parlami un pezzetto alla volta se non mi perdo.
Sì, che questa società deve essere basata sul rispetto, sulla presa di coscienza della diversità come espressione dell'infinito e dell'esperienza interiore dell'unità.
We should start to work together as one expression of the divinity and start to collaborate.
Deve essere l'esperienza del particolare che si offre all'universale nell'insorgere di una nuova coscienza.
Must be the particular that it fills into the global in a new way of society.
Una nuova coscienza che si nutre con la luce della verità più oggettiva possibile, bruciando nella fiamma dell'amore.
A new consciousness that starts to glow in the flame of love.
Una qualificata società di oggi deve tornare a sperare, credere ed avere fiducia nella realizzazione dei suoi migliori ideali.
A qualified society today must start to have faith and trust in its own ideals, profound ideals.
Nutrendosi con la gioia di appartenere a questa manifestazione e a lavorare ad un progetto unificante di fratellanza.
Nourishing himself in the joy of living in this world, in this manifestation, and start to work together for a new society.
Io ritengo che questo sia proprio il momento di fare qualcosa.
I think that this is the right moment to start to do something.
Sforzarsi di pensare in modo più positivo e oggettivo.
Start to think more positive and objective way.
Consapevoli che la via del soggettivo ha ormai rivelato i suoi difetti.
We have to be conscious that the way of subjectiveness starts to reveal its limit.
Il soggettivo non ha fatto disastri solo quando si è posto al servizio dell'umanità.
This subjectiveness was not a bad position when it was in the way of working as a service towards the other.
In conclusione,
I conclude.
Avendo sentito tutte queste bellissimi interventi dei miei cari fratelli, sono state veramente ispiranti,
having heard all these beautiful and very interesting talks from all my brothers. They were really inspiring me.
Esorto me stesso e le persone che mi stanno ascoltando a realizzare in pratica questa unità nella diversità.
I exhort myself and all the people that are listening to me to realize this unity in diversity.
È un grande valore quello di sentirsi uno.
It's a great value to feel himself as one, the oneness.
Grazie infinite per tutte le persone che hanno partecipato.
Thank you very much for all the people who were here today, who were participating.
Grazie al caro Dileepji per il lavoro enorme che sta facendo da anni.
Thank you very much to dear Dileepji, who for years have been worked with the great effort for this work.
Il lavoro di farci sentire uno, e voglio offrire tutto ciò che posso per rimettermi al servizio dell'umanità.
All his work, really, all his effort to let us feel just as one. And so I put myself to work together with you, dear Dileepji.
Grazie infinite, vi abbraccio tutti e vi esorto a chiudere gli occhi un attimo.
So I would like really to thank you all and send a big embrace to all. I ask, please close your eyes.
Grazie, grazie dal cuore.
Thank you very much from the very deep of my heart.
Thank you, Swami Suryananda and Mimoun, to co-host this event. This is our great pleasure. This is the 8th day we are putting the program. So everybody, please join on next Sunday as a major event. And those who are in Europe, join after 11:30. I think around 12:30 people can give a small talk, not before, because we have planned even from the UN and all the stuff from morning onwards. And those who from Asia, they'll go first, then the UN people will go, then Europe, South America, and America. That's a very short down. We put it on three hours, but we may end up 5 hours. Always happen. So I want to thank European Yoga Federation to support this event. You know, I appreciate everybody's precious time, and nobody's getting paid for this event. This is a public service, you know, selfless service to humanity. I appreciate all of your time and effort to bring this event together. So over 1,600 people are watching us. I'm glad, you know, people get the interest from us because we are giving something, feeding them during this corona, the spiritual feeding, spiritual food. So that's a good thing, you know, at least we can communicate through Zoom. Thanks to Zoom, thanks to online programs. We cannot travel, right? So at least we can communicate. And we have other events. Please go to World Yoga Community Facebook page. Every single day we have interfaith events and other programs, and you are welcome to post what events you have. Post it there, it will educate a lot of people. We have over 300,000 people are in our different pages. When we send out email blast or any social media blast, it will reach to more than 10 million people around the world. So that is a service to help our community. So if we all are coming together, that will make the world as a big change. So just come together, join together, make the change in the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Grazie a tutti.
Grazie, grazie caro Mimoun, grazie. Facciamo ancora tante di queste cose insieme, va bene?
Okay.
So let's carry on doing many of these events together.
Thank you, Dileep.
Thank you, André. We'll be in touch.
Thank you, Dileepji. Dr. Vikrant Singh Tomar. Thank you, Dileepji.
We'll be in touch. This is a peace light. We are promoting peace light. This light created from the ray of light. They split it in the machine, the real light for peace. And we wrote different languages in it. So Peter Rogina is the founder of this, and we are supporting this around the world. This is like a 1-minute meditation with a peace light. We end up with that.
God bless you all. May you be happy every day and every night also.